I have been dating someone for 2 years now. It's going pretty well, but I'm actually going to tell you a story about when we first met, when he almost killed me. Um, so it's our second date, and we go to the Angelica in New York. I don't know if any of you have ever been, but we go to see the movie The Lobster. And I don't know if any of you have seen this movie, but it's basically a dystopian movie about a world in which if you don't meet a partner in your life, you're sent to a hotel and you have 30 days to meet someone. If you don't meet someone and marry them, you get turned into the animal of your choice. It's really good fodder for a second date. Anyway, we're walking back from the Angelica, and we stop by this little pub on the way, and we get to the bar, and he orders edamame, and I'm like, this is weird. I don't know. The whole thing's weird. I don't know how I should be feeling about this. And he asked me pretty much right there at the bar, he's like, hey, so I'm going to a wedding in a couple weeks. Do you want to come? And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Where is it? Roanoke, Virginia. So I'm an East Coast girl, and I've still never heard of Roanoke, Virginia. So that's not a great sign. But anyway, fast forward 2 weeks, we're driving up the winding roads of the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's very picturesque, and the sun is setting, and we're driving about 70 miles an hour, and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are you doing here? There's this guy that you barely know sitting in the car driving you into the middle of the mountains. Anyway, we stop at a grocery store to pick up some essential camping necessities. And we get to the grocery store, and there's a big Trump Pence sign on the window. So already I'm thinking, this is a bad idea. I shouldn't be going into the middle of bumfuck nowhere with this guy I don't know. But I'm already committed. I have no way out. So we go, we get all the things that we need, and the last piece of the puzzle is we're trying to get some firewood, right? So we can start a fire, and we can make s'mores and do all those adorable things that you do when you go camping. But we can't find any proper firewood. What we do find is this giant synthetic log that's about this big. It's a cylinder, and the idea is that you light a match and stick it in to the middle of it, and somehow the whole thing lights on fire. I've never been camping. Granted, on our second date, I told him I had, obviously, that, my family had grown up going on camping trips, that I've been to the Blue Ridge Mountains before, and I've actually hiked the entire Appalachian Trail. None of that is true. So he's thinking, oh, well, what do you think? This will probably work, right? And I was like, yeah, of course. I've used this a million times. This will be great. So we get in the car, and we're driving up, and we park the car, and we start to pitch a tent. And he's like, hey, could you grab that side? Just, grab this and do this and stick the stakes in and make sure you tie it over there, and then we'll put up the little window over here. And I was like, listen, why don't you work on this? It looks like it's getting cloudy. I'm going to start getting more stuff out of the car, because I'm being really slick. I don't know how to put up a tent. So he's taking care of that, and I start to get stuff out of the car, and it starts pouring rain. And it's just thunderstorming and pouring rain. But we're committed to this. We are going to make this work, right? Because neither of us really know each other that well, so we have to. So we light this match into this circular contraption of a log that I alluded to earlier to try to start a fire. And miraculously, it kind of works. We stick maybe 2 or 3 matches in, not the suggested one on the instructions, but eventually the fire lights, and before I know it, we're cooking beans over the fire, we're making tortillas, we're having our makeshift little campfire tacos. I'm like, this is really cute. About an hour later, my stomach starts to rumble a little bit, because we've eaten a can of beans each, and no one really told me about the bathroom situation when you go camping, so I wasn't completely aware of the fact that there wouldn't be porta potties or real toilets of any kind. So I've known this guy for 2 weeks, and I'm now taking a shit about 20 feet from him. That's okay. I deal with it. I move on. It's okay. And things are going pretty well. We're having good conversation. We've had a nice meal. We go into the tent that he's put up. Things are getting a little heated, and everything's going really, really well. He starts to go down on me, and I'm super excited about that. And And all of a sudden, I hear him yell, "Fuck!" And he jumps off of me. And I'm like, shit, like, what did I do? Like, I wasn't even, like, what? I was enjoying myself. Like, everything's going really well. So I'm completely naked, and I peek my head out of the tent. He's completely naked, and there's this roaring fire all around him because this cylindrical log that we stuck 3 matches in has decided to light itself on fire. And it's raging around us, and I sit there in the tent, butt naked, staring out at this guy I've known for 2 weeks, at his naked butt, as he tries to put out this fire with the 1 gallon of water that we have. And I'm just thinking to myself, why did I do this? There was no reason for me to go out to the middle of nowhere and start a fire in a national park. But he was really good at oral, so it happened. And that's my story. Thank you.